Folks, when you hear a police officer tell someone to stop, that is in fact an effort to de-escalate that situation. Hi, I'm John, President and founder of General Response. Before I get going and forget, hit that like and subscribe button real quick for more informational videos on how conflict de-escalation would have made a difference in all sorts of incidences that I find on social media and mainstream media. You know, folks, I think the biggest problem, if not the biggest problem that I find, is that the public has no idea what de-escalation is, or much less how to get to that point. And I think everyone has this idea that it's this magic one thing that a police officer can do or say that just immediately de-escalates a situation, and that is not true at all. Dealing with human beings is a very dynamic, volatile situation, and it requires the other person wanting to be de-escalated or allowing themselves to be de-escalated in the first place. Now, back to my comment that a police officer telling someone to stop is in fact trying to de-escalate the situation. There's a thing called the use of force continuum. For example, you're a parent and you have some kids in the other room and they get into a fight. Or you're an employer or a supervisor and you hear some of your people getting into an argument in the coffee room or something. What do? You get up, you go and you enter the room. And usually what happens when you make your presence known, they usually stop what they're doing. At least that's the intent. That's the effect that you're looking for, right, as a parent. As soon as you make your presence known, they want to stop. And that, in fact, is the very lowest use of force on the use of force continuum. When police officers let their presence be known, a certain behavior is expected to either stop or happen. You're speeding, police officer activates his emergency lights behind you, you're supposed to slow down, stop, and pull over. You're a supervisor or an employer, you go into that coffee room, you make your presence known, hopefully they stop what they're doing. But let's say they keep going, they keep arguing, your kids keep fighting. What happens now? You issue a verbal command. This is the very next step on the use of force continuum. You tell them to stop. You tell your kids to stop. You tell your subordinates, your employees, or your partners, your colleagues, or whatever, to stop. A police officer tells someone to stop. That is a use of force, and your effort, your attempt, is to try to de-escalate the situation before you. But let's say they keep going on. They're ignoring you. What do you do now? How often and how long are you going to let your child ignore you blatantly? They're ignoring your verbal command to stop fighting with their brother or sister or with the neighborhood kid. Now you have to step it up, and you're going to have to physically remove them from each other. You tell your colleagues and subordinates and all that to stop fighting and arguing with each other, but they don't. What has to happen? You, and maybe with some help, are going to have to separate these people physically. Police officer tells someone to stop and they don't stop. Police officer has to go in there and take it up to the next level. Verbal commands is the next level of trying to de-escalate a situation. If you are a human being on this planet and have ever been in a position of authority, you have used the use of force continuum in some way, some manner. And it probably never got as far, much further than you simply using verbal commands or maybe separating people. When you see a police officer tell someone to stop what they're doing, that is in fact an effort to de-escalate that situation.